I am very much excited because the topic is on childhood comics. Comics, which everyone likes to read. And when we talk about comics, I remember the old days which I used to read the comic book. I remember the quote when I talk about comics. The quote is like, be silly, be honest, and be kind. Like when we read a comic book, we will be very silly. We will think what is happening in the comic books as reality, and we will be very honest in what is good and what is wrong, and we will be very kind because there are many kind things which shown in the comic books.
Let's see how comics is culturally significant.
Comic can be used to teach a range of subjects includes science, history, and language arts.
Comics have considerable cultural significance for children in various ways. They serve not only as entertainment but also in the tool for education, socialization, and development. Comics expose children diversities of cultural perspectives and experience, whether they're superheroes or historical figures or stories around the world. And it introduces the children's different societal norms and challenges and cultural values. Through the comics, the children have developed imaginative and it encourages children to various artistic and narrative abilities.
How do comics inspire children to create their own art form and stories?
Comics can be used to support English language.
Comics improve my reading skill.
Here, the children they are inspired in various ways by seeing the comics. One of the things is they develop their storytelling skills. By reading various comics in their childhood, they would really get inspired to create their own stories out of it. And even some of the children, they clearly they will create their own career options. Even some of the children, they might have read comics in their childhood and now they became a director.
Now let's see what are the most earliest and most influential comic books we have. We will ask to the children and let us know what of them.
Tinkle Tinkle. Tenali Rama.
Tinkle Tinkle.
Yeah, he came across different variety of answers, sir. As it is a human tendency to change their minds and they have their own dislikes and likes. When we talk about the favorite influential earliest favorite comic book, we could say like it is one of the one which we can say is mythological, like Draupadi's one, which has a comic element and also moral values. Our Indian culture is to have moral values, like even the comic has moral values which influence children. The other one is like which has like animals images. For example, monkey stories. This is one of the favorite cartoons or comics of many of the children. We can say it has more comical elements which teach us how to respect animals also. We are in the country or in the country where we educate students or the children to have a basic humanity towards everything. So people or children like all those texts which is related to moral values with comic elements. A comic has comic elements. It's necessarily one. But when we talk about comics, it has masalas which are like emotions and also moral values which teaches or educated children to grow up well. So we can say like this Draupadi's mythological one or Janaka's Tales, Tingling Lingling and many other books, Champak, many of the books are favorite for many of the students.
Let's see what comics plays in the role of education.
Comics can be used to support English languages learners as the virtual element can be support understanding and vocabulary development.
Comics made me more engaged and enjoyable.
Comic book teaches moral lesson. It teaches vocabulary and English easily. Storytelling.
The children have said that by reading comics, they have improved their vocabulary skills and the reading skills also. They say that comics helps to their fully engagement. It also makes more interest for further reading. They say that by reading comics, comics improves the students' creativity skills and also the storytelling techniques. It also improves to learn an English language very easily. I like to say that comics helps the students very useful manner.
comics influence in development of various art forms? Let's see. When we talk about films, from comics, they have created movies like Deadpool, Batman, Spider-Man. These are all comics before it have been seen as in films. Comic and literature, they are also connected with each other. By reading comics, the children they used to learn they used to improve their vocabulary skills, their creative level. By reading various art forms or art stories, they tend to think a lot, and some of them they have written stories too. They create their own art and own new fresh material of stories by reading various comic books.
Talking about childhood comics, my life has been revolving around stories and especially comics. At that time, there was this comic called Amar Chitra Katha, wherein there would be Jataka tales and mythological stories. There was also this monthly edition of Magic Pot. I used to read those stories, and I think those comics that I have read have actually impacted my love for English language, as well as it has improved my vocabulary as well. And I think it has given a moralistic point of view that even parents would not teach their kids, because I have read so many stories. I think the moral values have been embedded in me, and coming back to now, as an adult, supposedly.
Provide opportunities for education.
It improves more emotions to improve my reading skill.
Here we have seen different perspectives of how children they develop their skills by reading comic books. Here they develop their artistic skill by seeing various comical pictures or elements they use as a bubble, or they have an idea that how a story should be presented through a art form. When we talk about films, from comics they have created movies like Deadpool, Batman, Spider-Man. These are all comics before it have been seen as in films. Comic and literature, they are also connected with each other. By reading comics, the children they used to learn they used to improve their vocabulary skills, their creative level. By reading various art forms or art stories, they tend to think a lot, and some of them they have written stories too. They create their own art and own new fresh material of stories by reading various comic books. In animations, we can see comics, but it was a picture. But if we think that how animation was created from the picture, they tend to develop using technology, and they create an animation animation series out of that, and that is what we see now as an animated movies or series from that. Do you all think that Naruto is a series of animation or not?
Now let's see how comics are influence the children's perception of themselves and how they are placed in the world. Comics have played a significant role in shaping children's perception of themselves and their place in the world. When we talk about perception, representation and identity comes first. Representation. When we talk about that, children are have different racial identity, different ethics, and different cultural background, which comics makes them to understand what they have to do. Second one is positive role model. Like they in comics they see the role models who are very positive, so they tend to follow them. And third one is self-identification. When they read comics, they can able to identify themselves. When they read comics, they will find the similar characters who behave like them, so they can identify how their character is all about.
We like comic book. It teaches life the lessons.
We have analyzed about childhood comics, so hope you have get the experience of nostalgia. And also I want to say that comic influence the younger minds of the students or the children, and it influenced in very good way. In creativity, it forecasts empathy and also self-awareness to the children. And also in the younger age, they develop the social society-based awareness like morality, etc. Thank you for this opportunity.